Hello, I'm going to show you how to put a catheter in plan C. Reasons you might put a catheter in is for surgeries, both standing and under GA, for euthanasia, and if you have an inpatient that will be receiving regular IV meds. Catheters can be put in going downwards and upwards, and they can be put in on both the left and the right jugular. That will depend, which one you use will depend on the procedure the horse is having, so make sure you check ahead of time what the horse is likely to have the catheter in for, because if it's going in right lateral, you would want to put it in the left jugular, and if it's going in left lateral, you would want to put it in the right jugular. I'm going to show you in the left jugular because that's the place you do it most often, and I'm going to show you it going down because that's the way it's done in the hospital here most of the time. So I'm going to take this from the point that my horse has been pre-clipped, pre-trapped, and a local anaesthetic has already been applied in this horse. I've got my handler, and this is not something you would ever do with a horse tied up. You want appropriate restraint, and I've pre-prepared my equipment that I'm going to use. So I've got out my short stay catheter, my ties, and my extension set. My extension set has been flushed with saline ahead of time. The first thing I'm going to do is approach my horse, and it is appropriately restrained with a handler. This is not something you would do with a horse tied up. I'm going to locate my jugular vein by raising and having a feel, and again, similar to the IV injections, I'm going to aim for that top third of the jugular where it diverges most from the carotid artery. So once I'm happy with where I'm going to retrieve my catheter. They have a bung on the top, which can be removed, and they come in a sheath, which can be removed. Both of those can go in the bin. I'm then going to check that it plugs off nicely, so that once I'm in the vein, I can advance it properly. And same as IV injections, my bevel is facing towards me. I'm going to place my forefinger on the top of the catheter and raise the vein with my left hand. I'm going to enter the jugular and remove my finger so that I can get flashback of blood, and that confirms I'm in the right place. I'm then going to advance slightly more and use my other hand to thread off from the stylet. So you're going to screw in your extension set with the port facing at a right angle to the catheter, and make sure that's in nice and tight. You think you've attached your extension set. I'm going to ensure the catheter is still patent by flushing it. So I'm checking that the saline is going in nice and freely, which it is. So I'm happy that that catheter is in, and therefore I can start tying it in. You're going to put it in the skin like so, and make sure that you pull one side out and remove the needle. That is going to go straight into the shot. At this point, you can thread the end of the nylon through the catheter, and the first throw is going to be a double throw. So through the middle once, through the middle twice, and this is going to help anchor your catheter down into the vein. So we've done our double throw. I'm then going to do 4 or 5 more single throws to ensure that it is secure. I'm then going to do the same thing on the other side, through with my needle, retrieve my nylon, ensure that it's only coming out one side. My needle is going into sharp. Thread the end of the nylon through the catheter, and the first throw once again is going to be a double throw. So through the middle once, through the middle twice, and then anchor the catheter in place, and then finish with 4 or 5 more single throws. With your third tie, you're going to aim roughly halfway down the screw and go through the skin behind the extension set. Pull your nylon through as before. As with all the ties, once again, the first throw is going to be a double throw. 1, 2, and I'm going to ensure that that is sat above the screw to hold it nicely in place and flush against the skin. And once again, I'm going to do 3, 4, 5 more single throws to ensure it's secure. Your final tie is going to secure the extension set to somewhere higher up in the neck. This tie may not be required if the animal is going in for surgery, as the surgeon might want the end to be loose. This just needs to be a simple double first throw at some point on the extension set, followed by 4 or 5 more single throws. When cutting your ties, make sure you leave at least an inch length. That way, if they come undone, you can retie them easier. And if your horse is fractious about having them removed, it gives you more leverage to remove them.